This podcast is brought to you by Bloomberg Law. For more information about our professional services for the legal industry, please call 212-617-6569.
You're listening to Bloomberg Law. I'm Josh Block.
You know, nobody in the world could cover my main man, Michael Jordan. Nobody. Nobody.
Just how famous was Michael Jordan when Spike Lee made that Nike commercial? The Hall of Fame basketball player has filed a lawsuit in China. Under Chinese law, that could be a crucial question. Here's what Jordan had to say.
I've been in the public eye now for 35 years, and during that time of my basketball career, I've established a name, a likeness, or identity that represents me. Unfortunately, a Chinese sports company has chosen to build a Chinese business off my Chinese name without my permission. I have no other choice but to turn to the courts.
Attorney Horace Lam joins me now from Beijing, China. He is a partner at Jones Day who represents multinational companies in enforcing their intellectual property rights in Asia. Horace, the Chinese sportswear company that Michael Jordan is suing uses Jordan's Chinese name. They use his number 23. They have a logo that looks similar to Jordan's Jumpman logo. How important are these factors under Chinese law?
Well, I think one of the key factors is that these are actually registered trademarks in China. So that by itself would make Michael Jordan's case pretty difficult.
I had read a quote that you had said about the timing of when Jordan became famous. How important is that, and how important is it as to how famous he was? Was it important that he was world famous?
It would be extremely important for Michael Jordan to show his reputation, but not globally, but more specifically for China and in China.
How important under Chinese law is consumer confusion, the notion that consumers believe that this is an authentic Michael Jordan endorsed brand?
It is very important as well, but it's more like the second element that Michael Jordan needs to prove after he successfully proved that his name in Chinese has a big reputation in China.
It sounds like you have doubt that he can prove that?
I'm not saying that. I mean, I don't know what kind of evidence that Michael Jordan will be able to produce before 1997. That was the first application that the Chinese company filed for cheow-DAN in China.
Tell me about the bad faith element. I looked a little bit at trademark law in China.
Bad faith is actually the second element that Michael Jordan needs to prove after he proves reputation. But the bad faith element is only important if Michael Jordan is actually making his case based on certain articles in the trademark law, which means that after he successfully proved that he's very famous, has a big reputation in China, which means that the name cheow-DAN in Chinese, the Jordan name in Chinese, is extremely famous and well-known in China, then he would have to prove that there is confusion and also that the registration filed by the Fujian company was filed in bad faith.
I know that in recent years, some Asian basketball players, including Yao Ming, have had success in Chinese courts protecting their names from unauthorized uses. Will those cases have an impact on Michael Jordan's case, and what role does precedent play in Chinese courts?
Well, yes and no. I mean, the more recent case is another basketball player, Lam. He won the case recently in China. The difference, however, is both Lam and also Yao Ming, well, Lam in particular, he is Chinese national, so they would be able to rely on a certain article in the trademark law claiming civil rights, which according to the PRC civil law protects PRC citizens' names. Now, Michael Jordan, of course, is slightly different in that respect.
Among the factors that could make Michael Jordan's lawsuit hard to predict is the role that national deference could play on the court. This sportswear company has over 5,000 retail outlets. The company employs thousands of workers and contributes millions to the economy. What role will that play in a court's decision, and how political could this be?
I think that would have some influence or some significance in the outcome of the case.
Another Chinese lawyer, Gordon Gao, has said that international companies, when they litigate in China, sometimes make a mistake by arguing morality rather than law. And IP rights often have an element of morality to them. Does Chinese law recognize that?
To a certain degree, but not to a large degree. The Chinese law in particular, when we're talking about trademark laws, rely heavily and place heavy weight on registration itself. So, in other words, so long as the company has a registration for its trademark, it becomes quite difficult to challenge the registration unless you actually have very good grounds under the laws.
I'm not sure if you're aware just how much media attention the New York Knicks point guard Jeremy Lin is getting here, and if Lin's sanity has made its way to China. But I know a Chinese sports utility company says that they've already trademarked Jeremy Lin's Chinese name, that they did that last year. Does Jeremy Lin need Jordan to be successful in order to protect his IP rights in China? Should he choose to do that?
First of all, yes, you are correct. A Chinese company in Wuxi, they have successfully registered Jeremy Lin's name in both Chinese and English for certain type of goods in China. Now, the Jeremy Lin case is going to be slightly different from the Michael Jordan case. One difference is that the Michael Jordan case, the Chinese company that has registered the trademarks, the registrations go way back to 1997. Under the Chinese laws, 5 years is a threshold. So the Michael Jordan case is so much more difficult compared to the Jeremy Lin case, because the registration in the Jeremy Lin case was only last year and granted this year, actually.
If you had to predict, do you have a sense of how this case will end up?
I would think that the most likely outcome would be a settlement.
If you were counseling Jordan, what would you be telling him here?
I think it's going to be a difficult case for Jordan. He needs to have realistic expectations, and I think it's a matter of strategy, and then he should really be looking at trying to gain some leverage and obtain a favorable settlement at some point.
That's attorney Horace Lam. For more information about this and other topics, log on to BloombergLaw.com. You can find more of our content on our YouTube channel, and you can follow our daily updates on Twitter. Thanks for listening.
Copyright 2012 Bloomberg Finance LP, all rights reserved. The views expressed herein are those of the speakers and not of Bloomberg Finance LP. These discussions are for informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal advice, which has to be addressed to particular facts and circumstances involved in any given situation. Bloomberg Finance LP and its affiliated entities do not take any responsibility for the content contained herein and do not make any representation or warranty as to its completeness or accuracy.